before World Book Day on Thursday the 5th of March, Shaftesbury readers have been given the chance to read the latest novel by a Sunday Times best-selling author for free and before it appears in the shops or online. Sally Page lives just minutes from our town and was a key speaker at the Creative Writing Festival Fiction for Fun a few years ago, encouraging local writers to follow her path to success. I caught up with Sally on World Book Day at the Grosvenor Arms Hotel to talk about the inspiration behind her latest novel, 6 Little Words, which is set in another part of the country she loves, North Norfolk. And if you're involved in a book club or reading group, as you'll hear in a moment, Sally's making an incredible offer to attend and chat at one of your future meetings. Writing runs in Sally's family.
I really followed in my daughter's footsteps because my daughter Libby Page was a Sunday Times bestseller before I was. So it's a case of a mother following her daughter. But I'm very keen to encourage other writers because my first book, The Keeper of Stories, which was it's sold nearly 1 million copies now and has been translated into 30 countries. It took forever to get somebody to pick that up, and one editor went with it and it became HarperCollins' biggest debut that year. So I always say to other would-be writers, it takes one person to recognise what you're doing, so just keep going.
Sally has made it.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I am an author with HarperCollins and they are at the moment wanting me to sign up for more books with them, so I am very fortunate, but I never forget what it was like.
As a writer, it must be wonderful having your work recognised and having a respected publisher ask you to sign a contract for future novels, as yet unwritten. And I also wondered whether that was a little bit daunting.
There is always a bit of an imposter syndrome that you think, can I do it? Then I think, trust the process and particularly trust my characters. My books have a lot of distinct characters in them and they often show me the way. But also, I never forget what it was like to be somebody trying to get an agent, trying to get a publisher. So it is a great problem to have that you're trying to come up with ideas for a publisher who wants to publish you.
When over 1 million people have read your work, you can't possibly have imposter syndrome, can you?
You'd be surprised. I think we all do. I was talking to my daughter Libby, who is a very successful author as well, and she and I talk about it. And the other authors, because this area has a lot of great authors around. So Claire Leslie Hall, whose book Broken Country is a massive hit, she and I now meet for coffee and we sit and we talk about our worries, which at the end of the coffee we then go, but we are so lucky to be able to do this for a living.
And you do it for a living, so does that change your pleasure with reading other people's work?
It does slightly. Any author will say reading other people's work is a great way to understand more about how you should write, not by copying but by learning. But I do find it more difficult to read because my head is so full of imaginary characters that it's sometimes difficult to dive into other people's work. But I never regret it when I do. I always still find huge enjoyment and always learn something.
Now, they always say that you should write about what you know, and you started by writing about what you observed when you're working at a high-end florist in Mere. So this book isn't set locally, 6 Little Words. How much of your life or things you do on a day-to-day basis has informed what you write here?
Oh, very much so. It's a book about a community group who come together to try creative projects for the first time, painting, writing, all sorts of things. And it's about the friendships. There's a little bit of a love story and a love triangle in there as well. But it does address all the times we say to ourselves, we're not good enough, we don't have the time to do something creative. And I spoke to a lot of people writing this book and found this was quite a common theme, that we put creative projects at the bottom of our lists. And so this book is about how a group come together and start to be a bit more creative, and that changes things in their lives.
It's quite Shaftesbury, isn't it, that sort of thing?
Very much so. I mean, Shaftesbury's great for the number of artists, writers, but also just looking around at the businesses that we were going in and leaving the books. running a business, when it's your own passion, is a very creative process, and you can see that throughout the town.
Now, I know what 3 little words usually means. What does 6?
6 little words is based on to be or not to be, which is in the book. A notice goes up in a cafe which just has those words on it. Then the next time one of the characters goes in, there are 6 more words from Shakespeare, and it's a teaser to draw people into what we discover is a community group. And actually Shakespeare is quite a theme in that each chapter is a Shakespeare quote, and one of the characters is a retired English teacher called John Shakespeare, known to his friends as Bardi.
Where did you come up with the idea? That's a strong theme, and there's a lot of elements that you can tie in with the Shakespearean theme. How did you come up with that concept?
I think it just came to me with the name Bardi and John Shakespeare, but also because I came across a creative competition during lockdown called the King Lear Prize, which was aimed at people giving creative things a go during lockdown when perhaps mental health wasn't great. And that came about because Shakespeare went into quarantine for the plague, and during that time he wrote Macbeth, Antony and Cleopatra, and King Lear. So there was a theme there about bringing creative things up in difficult times.
Now, one of your lead characters is not what you might call neurotypical, I suppose you could say. So how did you understand how to see the world from his perspective?
So my character Bardi has a gift, which he sometimes thinks isn't quite a gift, which is that he experiences things in colour. Once I started exploring this, because it seemed a good theme to work with a book about creativity, I met lots of people who have this type of synesthesia and talked to them, and found people who, I have a friend I didn't realise, who sees each day of the week as a different colour. She was amazed nobody else did. I also came across a musician who said when he was young and went to concerts, he thought they turned the lights down so that people could see the colour emanating from the musical instruments.
That's a wonderful thing to have, isn't it?
It is a wonderful thing to have. I mean, my character Bardi finds it a bit more difficult at times, but as a theme and to go through a book about creativity. And also, it was the first time I wrote from a male point of view, and it gave me something to work on, that and his friendship with his best friend from school. So friendship, as always, is a big theme in my books, but this time I was looking at male friendships as well.
Did you find that difficult, writing as a bloke or speaking like a bloke?
To start with I did, but the colour thing, and then his best friend Lou, who to start with was quite a small character, but he became a bigger character because without me sort of doing anything, they started to take the mick out of each other, and that created quite a lot of humour in the book, and it made it an absolute joy to write.
Do you see these books as a complete work, a one-off, rather than a series?
Yes, they are a one-off. I have once written a sequel. So the sequel to The Book of Beginnings, my second book, was a little Christmas book. But yes, this 6 Little Words is a one-off.
It's going to be a while. Perhaps somebody will make an offer before we see you or hear you in Shaftesbury. You've got events we'll talk about coming up a little bit further away. Are you intending to do the Creative Writing Festival next year? I know it seems a long way off.
If I'm asked, I will absolutely do it. I really enjoyed it last time and would be very, very happy to do it again.
You're happy to go and talk with book clubs?
I love talking to book clubs. I always learn things as well as being an opportunity to talk to readers. So if you have a book club out there and you're reading one of my books and you'd like me to come along so you can ask me questions, please do contact me.
And you can make contact with Sally through her website at sallypage.com. And back to her unique offer for you to have a chance to read 6 Little Words. There are copies all around town.
Well, Book Day today, but it's also International Women's Day this weekend. And the theme this year is when we give, we gain. So I thought with my new book, 6 Little Words, I'd leave 6 copies around the town of Shaftesbury in businesses run by women. And these copies are free for readers to pick up, which I hope they'll enjoy. The book doesn't actually come out till next week, so it's also a chance to get your hands on early copies of Six Little Words.
So what kind of reaction did you have from business owners, the fact that you were giving them a book to let anybody who wanted to read it, read it?
Delighted, and particularly the angle of that these are women's businesses, so there's quite a lot of support for women doing what they do, whether it's writing or running a business. And also it's like a win-win. It's not being charged for, and it's giving the gift of reading, which is always a good thing.
How will people have their attention drawn to it then? Have you got little signs or information?
Yes, so the books are sort of gift wrapped, they'll be dotted around the businesses, and there's a big sign saying, "Please read me, free to a good home." So it's very clear it is a gift, something that people can pick up and take away.
And are you hoping people will re-gift once they've read it?
I do hope so, and that is often the case. You know, if you love a book, you talk about it, you pass it on, which as an author I'm always happy about.
Good luck hunting down your copy. They're all at women-owned businesses in Shaftesbury Town Centre. Sally.